Welcome back to WagerTalk.com. We're going to take a look at a big NBA game this weekend. It's Saturday night action. We've been getting some good games on Saturday night the last few weeks, and we've got San Antonio this week traveling to play Oklahoma City and the Thunder. We got Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, and boy, Westbrook has been lighting it up lately. And this obviously another showdown of two of the three best teams in the West. We had the showdown last week with the top two, and the Spurs came to play and gave Golden State a rare loss and a defensive game that we're not used to seeing in the NBA. Looks like we're getting ready for playoff time, and that's a great segue to this one because I talk about the Oklahoma City Thunder, and to me, they're like that shiny sports car. You know, you love to look at them, you love to ride it, drive it, and that, but you know, it's really not that practical. And whenever they get to the playoffs, their style, you know, just seems to come up short. You know, you need to play some defense in the NBA to win a championship, and they haven't been able to get over the hump. And you guys see any reason to think any different this year?
No, not for me. I think though they will meet the Spurs most likely, in that they will. That's gonna be the playoff series, and it might go 6 games, maybe 7. But the Spurs should ultimately win the series. It's really hard as a fan to see like Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, two of the top 4 or 5 players in the entire NBA on one team, not really have a chance to make that leap. And you know, the Warriors are really good and the Spurs are really good. And then when they had a shot, when James Harden was still there, the Heat were there, and LeBron and Wade and Bush. So their time might be kind of running out, and you've heard a lot of the free agent talks, and Durant might be leaving or Russ might be leaving in 2 seasons. The roster right now, though, I think is one of their worst that they've had, you know, in the last 6-7 Durant, Westbrook era teams. Cantor's really, really poor defensively, literally the worst defensive big there is in the entire NBA. You have Andre Roberson, who's supposed to kind of take Thabo Sefolosha's spot as a defending wing, who's not great, and he shoots like 20% from 3, so he's kind of a liability on O. Ultimately, they just don't have enough weapons. Ibaka is kind of just who he is. He's kind of opened up a little bit of a corner 3, you know, long-range game, but not enough, I think, to really put OKC over the top. And I just kind of feel bad as a basketball fan where they're probably not going to have a chance together to win a title.
Now, they got rid of Scotty Brooks as the coach, and you know, brought in Donovan. And do you see anything? I mean, it's the same team, in my opinion.
Somehow, it's.
You know, where was the difference at?
He's playing with what he's got, and as you pointed out, they don't have those defensive stoppers that they had in the past. So he's got to try to outscore the teams they're playing, and basically, you know, the stars on the team say, "Hey, that's my game. Let's do it." Unfortunately, they don't play as good a defense, and similarly to the game we saw last week, where we had San Antonio and Golden State, 2 teams that might want to play a little bit. They did want to show a lot. I'm not so sure we're going to see much different in this one because of that situation.
Now, with the Spurs here, do you got to question at some point, Popovich, you know, he's 4 games back right now in the standings. We're taping on Wednesday behind the Warriors. At what point do you say, we're not catching them and nobody's catching us for the 2nd spot? Where do we start doing classic Pop and resting players?
He kind of, I mean, he did it the other night when Duncan hardly played. I know it was kind of to match Golden State's small ball, which went well for them in the end. But he's kind of a guy that does it throughout the season, so I don't think he's going to just take, you know, wake up one morning and be like, okay, we don't have a shot, we're just going to back off. I know they play the Warriors at home the 2nd or 3rd to last game of the year. At that point, they probably won't have a shot at the 1 seed, but they might have a shot at going undefeated at home, and they might have a shot at ruining the Warriors' chance of breaking the record. Mm-hmm. So I don't see in those big games, at least, I think he'll play, you know, the starters, and he's not going to rest anybody significant. But he's also a great Popovich, and you know, unpredictable, and so I don't think any of us can really say.
Yeah, and if you're looking to back Oklahoma State, I'd much rather have them at home than on the road. Your elite teams have been able to win on the road. Oklahoma City hasn't got to that level. They're excellent at home, but they're not like a team that a Golden State or a Cleveland or whatever can turn it on the road.
They just played a couple weeks ago in San Antonio, and they, for 3.5 quarters, they were right there with them, and then they ended up losing by 8. Line opened 8, closed 8.5, and even 9 some places. But they hung around for a good portion of that game, and maybe they can turn the tables here. And I think they got – this, to me, would be similar to last Saturday, where they got maybe something to prove heading into the playoffs to send a statement to the Spurs that, hey, we're here, we're not going away. It's not just you and the Warriors. So if I had to play the game, I probably would look to the home team, but it's probably a game I won't get involved in.
I'll say this, the Spurs are on a back-to-back. They play Friday against Memphis. Oklahoma City does not. I know we talked to our CGT guys. They said it's probably going to be Spurs -2 or 2.5. I think that's high. If it really is 2.5, I might take a shot on OKC plus 130 or 125 on the money line. I think it should be closer to pick in the spot. So I'll be keeping an eye on it. But yeah, I think if you can get Oklahoma City plus money and that ends up being the line that comes out, there's a little bit of value there.
And watch the minutes that the starters play on Friday
on
night.
Friday. It's against Memphis at home. Then they travel to Oklahoma.
All right, guys. Good stuff. Check that out. And as we said in the other video, you want to save $10 on a package this weekend, use coupon code SWEET in the number 10. That's SWEET in the number 10. You'll save $10 off a package. Just enter that at checkout. We'll be back with more here at WagerTalk.com.